Now, here's the Kamala Harris rally I was telling y'all about that someone in the audience here said Jesus is Lord. And her remark was, "You're at the wrong rally. You should be at the rally down the street, the smaller rally, I guess pertaining to Donald Trump's rally." But all you Catholic Christian believers out there, I told you I was going to bring this video back to the peoples so the peoples can decide for themselves that it just wasn't rhetoric talk coming out my mouth. Let's listen to the video and listen closely, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally. No, I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street. Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally. No, I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street.
Silly bitch.
This is with Catholics. So Harris has 47 to 52 with Trump. But here's another interesting poll. They're among all Catholics, but white Catholics, 61% for Trump, only 34 with Hispanic Catholics. That's an interesting number, especially as you're seeing Hispanics, men in particular, moving towards Donald Trump. What do you make of those numbers?
Well, we're seeing even better numbers for the president in some of these swing states, particularly in the upper Midwest, like Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, where the Catholic vote makes up nearly 30%. And I think what we might be seeing here, Rachel, is really a watershed moment where this long-time tradition of many Catholics voting for Democrats have finally said, I didn't leave the party left me. And they are now looking seriously at Donald Trump, not just on a lot of the obviously traditional social issues like...
Who's that? Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Sitting right next to who? The man, the Don. Chuck Schumer.
Like life and religious liberty, but on the border, on the economy, and on, frankly, just our Catholic way of life. I think they feel comfortable with President Trump, and they don't feel so with Kamala Harris.
She told one of the hecklers who said Jesus is Lord, hey, you're at the wrong... She told one of the hecklers who said Jesus is Lord, hey, you're at the wrong rally. Okay, you're at the wrong place. AKA, if you're Christian, then... hey, this is not a campaign for you, right? I am not the person that you want to vote for if you think that Jesus is Lord, okay? And again, this is not a good move, especially considering how she snubbed the Al Smith dinner, which is a Catholic fundraising dinner that, traditionally speaking, the presidential candidates attend in election years. She decided that she didn't want to go. She put out this very cringy skit video that was kind of offensive towards Catholics. And this comes after Democrat governor and Kamala Harris campaign surrogate Gretchen Whitmer got a whole lot of backlash and had to end up apologizing for offending Christians and Catholics by posting an awkward video where she's basically mocking communion. Take a look.
For taking part in a viral Instagram video where she places a chip in the mouth of liberal podcaster Liz Plank, who accepts it while on her knees. Many Catholics are saying it's a clear shot at the sacrament of Holy Communion.
I was an elder in my church, just recently retired from that, and serving Holy Communion is one of the most sacred things that we do. And when I saw that video, I was dumbfounded by what on earth the governor thought that she was doing with that. I mean, it felt to me, and I've heard this from a lot of my friends from around Macomb County here today, who felt that she was mocking Holy Communion.
After Plank accepts the chip, the camera moves over to the governor, who's wearing a camo-style Harris Walz campaign hat. Fox 2 requested a statement from the governor's office and have not received one yet. However, Democratic sources with knowledge of Whitmer's participation in the video say it refers to a viral TikTok challenge called The Dilemma, where one person awkwardly feeds a friend of theirs on camera, but Roe isn't buying it.
I mean, that's just wrong. And if it were done to any other faith, it would be condemned across the board. But this is what believing Christians take all the time, and we're tired of it.
I want to bring up, this is our first time taking an interview with anybody, and I think it's important because this is our raw, untold story. There's a lot that happened off camera that we said at the protest, while we were protesting. And I guess we could start off with after she talked about overturning Roe v. Wade and Donald Trump, I yelled out to the crowd that abortion is the sacrament of Satan. And when I said that, I deeply do believe that as a Christian. And about 10 seconds go by, and that's when the video of my friend Grant and I proclaiming that Christ is Lord and Jesus is King, when we said that.
Okay, so this is very important because I do think that eventually Kamala Harris will be bullied into a corner into which she will have to respond to all of this. So make sure you understand, if you do watch this video, this is the first time these two gentlemen are actually talking about what's happening. And when you have these random articles like this saying, we can't verify anything or we don't really know what's happened, I actually think this is quite the testimony to the two gentlemen who went there to protest. They weren't even trying to publicize themselves. They weren't trying to make TikToks. They weren't trying to make YouTube videos. All of the mass promotion really came from people like myself, from a bunch of TikTok creators, from Fox News. They are not looking for any fame and glory. They were simply just trying to protest and project the name of Christ in the middle of this rally, which they do have the right to.
And I think it's important to say this is a small venue, and we were about 20 to 30 yards away from Kamala at this point. There's a lot of controversy that says she wasn't talking to us or we left, we didn't get kicked out. Well, I can speak on Grant and I's behalf. On video, Grant's getting pushed and shoved. And there's about 5 seconds after or before she tells us to go to the smaller rally down the street. You can see on the video she waves. She was actually waving to me. I took this cross off my neck that I wear. And as we were getting asked to leave, I held it up in the air and waved at her and pointed to her. And she looked directly in the eye, kind of gave me an evil smirk.
Okay, so I never really understood why this was so important as to why Kamala said, go to the smaller rally down the road. But now that I really think about it, when I meditate on this, you need to understand this is just another lie from the Kamala party to make fun of smaller rallies, to show how big and great her rallies are. But again, even from the third-party sources and from the main sources themselves who got kicked out, they are even stating this rally only had about 25 to 2,700 people. We go to this university. It was in our gymnasium. This was not a big rally to begin with. So again, this is just another attempt to try and make herself look amazing and great. And again, if you are a Christian, you know that pride and ego is one of the worst sins, if not the worst sin, as proclaimed in the Bible.
Attendees there, volunteers that kicked us out with badges or whatever they had. And I specifically remember this one man saying, you were uninvited and unwelcome to this event. You need to leave. And all they did was walk us out the door. They didn't tell us why. No cops escorted us out. No Secret Service. And that's our story.
Again, this is super relevant to the story because maybe for the first time ever, the Christian has the ability to actually tell their side of the story and their narrative before it gets all twisted. Again, I'm actually really surprised, and I waited some time to give the Kamala Harris campaign literally time to respond to all of this and maybe give her a chance to say, I am sorry, because we are to forgive. Not only say I am sorry, but maybe I was even going to give her the benefit of the doubt of, I couldn't hear him, I apologize, but still, like I stated before, the silence is deafening, and there's absolutely nothing from their party or really any other mainstream media who's more left-leaning, if you will.
To get our message out in any way possible. First of all, we didn't really intend on, going at any people. People online were calling us MAGA fascists. That was never our intention going to this rally. We were only here to protest our faith, and we did so. We never expected this to grow as large as it was. Essentially, she was speaking, and we decided to say Christ is King, Jesus is Lord. And we got a lot of backlash.
Okay, so it needs to be said, even on the Christian, Catholic, Orthodox, all sides of Christianity side of things, there was still a lot of backlash within the Christian camp yelling at these two gentlemen as in, like, you shouldn't be out there causing chaos. She's one of our leaders. We're to pray for our leaders. Why are you interrupting her? Again, there is that side of the story that's really being a little underrepresented, and I want to make sure that is put out there. It's not only anti-Christians, atheists, agnostics, whatever. It's also Christians within the Christian camp yelling at these two gentlemen.
Damn.
Now, as far as the legitimacy of this story, I have provided you the actual evidence, the third-party evidence, and the lack of response from the Kamala Harris campaign as far as how much the story has blown up in the Christian conservative space. This is a massive story as far as Christians are concerned. Again, for the Catholic and Orthodox, all sides of Christianity seem to be really upset about this, and it is crazy to me that the mainstream media is not talking about this. I think we would have a totally different story here if these two gentlemen were filming it, being really ridiculous, were trying to create TikToks and then did post interviews being like, look, we got beat up, look what happened to us. None of that. In fact, they even took a very long time to respond, and if it wasn't for Fox News or other independent parties, we wouldn't even know what's going on. So again, make sure you guys are liking. I'm really curious to see what you all have to say about this. I'm trying to be as not biased as possible. I am a professing Christian, but to me, as somebody who reports the news, I am mostly shocked into how Kamala Harris has not commented on this. Because, look, if you're Christian or not Christian, the Christian vote is like one of the biggest votes you can get in America. It accounts for a massive percentage of Christians. And the fact that she was caught mocking and laughing and these two got kicked out, that's also a really bad look for the Kamala Harris campaign.